Today I'm packing up my small plein air bag. This is a bag that I usually have ready and can grab and take anytime we're leaving the house. And if I want to paint while I'm out, I have everything I need in here. So this is just a small bag. It is a bag that I got a long time ago when I ordered my products from Brush and Pencil. They came as a kit in this bag, and of course I love to repurpose everything. And this bag really holds a lot, yet it's compact. So I keep my supplies in here. And recently I've been asked, what do I put in my plein air bag? So this is like 9.5 inches. Yeah, it's about 9.5 inches by about 8 inches, 7.5, 8 inches. And, oh, how thick is that? About 3.5 inches thick. So, how much can you fit in a little bag like this? Let's dive in and find out. So in here, I have a plastic bag because if I carry it in, I carry it out. So any trash will go in that. Then I have things jumping out here. These are my UV sleeves. So I can put these on my arms. They're very lightweight and they block all the UV rays. These are important for me because ever since my vaccination and subsequent COVID, I've become photosensitive to the sun. I cannot be out in the sun. It literally stings my skin. Not that we all need to share that, but that is the fun that I deal with now. But it's not going to stop me from getting outside and painting because I love to be outside, especially in summertime. Our summer's so short here in Maine. So I always keep some UV sleeves. That way there, if the sunscreen, I have to use at least SPF 50. And I think we all should be using sunscreen anyways, but I have to use it. Otherwise, my skin physically will sting. And yeah, I'll get really bad reactions with it. But it's hot, and sometimes we just want to wear short sleeves. So when the sunscreen just isn't cutting it, I have those and I put them on. Then I have some small palettes in here. This is more than I normally carry, but I have 3 of them in this bag at the moment. Just to show you, this bag holds a lot. So right now, I have my Sennelier palette. These keep wanting to pop up. I'm going to put some stuff to stick these down. I haven't shared this one yet because my palette has grown and this one's wanting to be sticky. I was testing these to see how well will they travel if I take them out. So I've taken them out on like 1 or 2 trips and these keep getting loose. I've got to stick those down. And you'll see some of the paint has stuck to this part of the palette. I don't know. They might not be the paints that I can take traveling out in the summertime. This one is also one that I'm testing because these are M-gram paints and these were sent to me. I used this recently. I shared photos on Instagram and I was painting outside and this I just kind of mix in here. So far these are doing okay, but I always make sure when this is in my bag, it stays like this. I don't ever let it get in my bag like this because I'm afraid those paints will travel. And then I have this set, which is my Merry Blue. Again, none of these are my actual go-to when I go out painting. These were just some that I put into my bag because recently I wanted to try them out. I am actually going through my bag today because I want to take a core palette out with me when I go this Friday. Today, I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but when I go out painting to the botanical gardens, the coastal Maine botanical gardens for their plein air days, I want a core palette. So I have a set here and a set here of travel brushes. These are more of like a Kolinsky. They have a lot more snap to them. And this is my largest one. It's a 12 round. And they just, I like this kind because they screw together and they don't come apart. So I'll show you how I hold these in my setup as we go. This gets quite elaborate for this little tiny bag. I will have products like this, I'll have linked in the description below. If it's something I can link, then I will do so. These have a variety, like these are 3 rounds. And then this set has a variety of different shapes. Like see, that one's a flat. And these are more of like a squirrel. They're not as snappy as these. Then I do have a size 8 round. It's pretty long. Just have to be so careful. Sometimes when these are getting put away, it's easier to put them away when they're wet. There we go. But they do have a drain hole right here. Let the air get in so that my brushes can dry out. Then this is a smaller, I believe this one, I'm not seeing the size on it, but it's about, I don't know, 4 to a 6. Again, anytime I go to put the rounds back, it's always so much easier if I have them wet. They do have a nice point to them, and the bristles all want to stay down. So I'm not bending any of them or harming the brush in any way. And this one is a dagger. So that is that set. So I have 2 of those there, and I bring the travel brushes because I personally prefer the travel brush over a water brush. So that's why I have those there. Then I have a mechanical pencil, a white Signo Uniball white pen, which I've yet to find a white pen that I absolutely like that works all the time. I find that they're usually hit or miss. And then this is an eraser, and it retracts. So those are in there. I have a small ruler. I have a spray bottle. Then I have a smaller spray bottle. They put out 2 different types of mist, so I bring them both. And they fit, so why not? Then, of course, I carry sunscreen. This is extra. I actually have one that I keep in my backpack that is like SPF 70. This is like, in case of emergency, I forgot my stronger sunscreen and I need something, I can put this on, and I have my sleeves. So that is there. In this little container, I have cotton buds. I have a candle and a piece of wax for a wax crayon that's clear for doing any kind of resist that I need. And I have a little piece of magic eraser should I want that. Those all fit right in there. Okay. Then I have a little tiny container of Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. Now, if this container, you see, it's looking a little dry. It doesn't matter. This will re-wet. If I just take a wet brush and put that in there, it works just fine. Now it's all dry and going to be flaked all over my desktop. Okay, magic. Then I have this little container. It has salt in it. Now, if I use the salt, usually I will put the salt on, and once the salt dries, sometimes if there's a lot, I will just kind of brush it in a little pile and tap it right back into this container and use it again, and it's fine. Then I have a couple things of washi tape just in case I want that. And usually those will go in the bag like this, and that'll stack just like that. That goes on top. Then I have an old piece of plastic credit card that I have cut up, and I've cut like different angles on it. So we have the rounded corner. There's a little straight edge. I have a longer straight edge, medium-sized straight edge. I have a sharp point for scraping. I can do all kinds of stuff with this little piece of card, just depending on how I hold it. So that stays in my bag. This is a little container that my monk fruit sweetener came in, and I just washed it out and filled it up, and I keep the water in it. This is what I use to fill my next item. And this, it doesn't leak. So it doesn't matter if it goes on its side. But I use that to fill this little pot up. And in here, I actually right now have water from my last trip. So there's my clean side. And you guys know, I always talk about this stays dirty, and I use it for like weeks on end. So I knock things over on my desk. Can you guys see, like, I don't know if you can see in there. There's like lines here where the water has evaporated. Look how dirty this is. Look how clean this is. I will continue using this water until this is almost at its end. But once this is really getting really dirty, I mean, some of this is like sediment in the bottom, and the water up here actually isn't dirty, but it has evaporated, a good half an inch just since last week when I filled it. We're getting to, usually I refill it on Thursdays before I stream, but that clean side stays clean. And I contribute that to the use of the paint pucks. And in this little dirty side, I have a miniature paint puck. Isn't that just the cutest little thing? They are adorable. They come in a pack of 5 like this. It's the mini paint puck brush cleaner. And that fits right down inside one of these. I love those things. Yeah, so I keep one in my dirty side. And that'll make this little tiny pot last so much longer while I am out painting. And then because these lids have the rubber gaskets. I don't know if I showed you that, but they have a rubber gasket in them. So I can screw this on nice and tight. It can go right back in my bag, and that dirty paint water, it's not going on the ground wherever I'm painting. It's coming home with me and being disposed of properly. If I need to change this in the field while I'm out painting, usually I'll bring an empty like water bottle, and then I can pour it into there and bring that home again and take care of that. I have a set of Staedtler pigment liners. This is a set of 6. I definitely like these. You see I have all of the sizes there. I love the case that it comes in. So I have those if I need to do any line work. Then I have this. And this here gives me another portable bucket. You see I have a larger paint puck in that. And I can pop that out and have a much larger rinse bowl if I need it. And this one, this palette, needs my gouache. So these are 12 colors of gouache that I chose to take out with me for whatever scenario. If I want to do mixed media, or maybe I just want to do my painting in gouache, I have that. They go right back together. And it just clips on there, and then that stays together. So that goes in my bag. And then I have a bunch of clips. And I will show you what these are for in just a moment. And last but not least, the last item in my bag is my sketchbook. This is my Paul Rubens sketchbook. I love these. If I use one up, I buy another. I have a couple of them right now. So let's take a look at what I put inside here. So I have, this is a piece. I get these from the dollar store. They're cutting mats, like for your kitchen. It's really shiny on one side. It's very matte on the other. I just cut them to be just larger than my page, just to fit in between. And then if I'm doing anything on the current page in my sketchbook, if I'm doing pencil work, I don't have to worry that I pushed too hard and it went through to my other paper. I don't have to worry about anything, and not that I'm doing this out in the field because I'm using watercolor or gouache, but anything that I use on my paper that bleeds through, I just like to have them in between my pages. So that's what I do. If I paint off the edge and I don't have it taped down, I'm not worried about that color leaching and getting onto my other pages because you see I cut it slightly. I always make sure it is just slightly larger. See that all the way around. It is just slightly larger. Now, when I am out there, that is the little swatch card. I have it taped. I have it taped to my board from when I was last out there. We'll deal with that in a minute. So when I'm out in the field, I can easily just clamp my pages if I need to, right? And none of this isn't going to fall out. I can just go ahead and paint. I can do a full spread, or I can do a partial, just work one side of the page. Then I expanded. I saw Lindsay create the Frugal Crafter channel here on YouTube. I saw her create a board that she put in her sketchbooks. And I know that it wasn't her original idea, but she's the one who I saw do it. And I thought, well, that is wonderful. But then I took it a little different. I got this. It's a chalkboard that I got from the Dollar Tree. And it is 7.87 by 5.9. So 20 centimeters by 15 centimeters. This size, and you see this is it's very hard. It's black on both sides. It's like an MDF, I would say. And I take that when I'm using this sketchbook. It's perfect to store in my bag because it fits. I can just set it right in the back here. And you see, like, I can close that up and that sets right down in the front of that bag and it all goes together very well. What I do with this is I put it in here like so. And I will clip this. So I put it to the edge, right? Like that. And I take these clips here, if I can hold on to them, and I clip it like this. And clip it like this. Now you can, I do have 3 of them. You see this one? This was a clip that I had. I think it was like for clipping a towel or something like that. I don't know. It has like a key ring and a clip. And I just slide that on there. And I take this and I will clip that so that this is on the bottom. I'll show you what's in this pocket in a moment. And I just catch the edge of my sketchbook and the edge of the board. And that keeps it there. And I leave these out like this. Okay, I leave those out like this. Now what happens is on the back, just like on our palettes, that little ring, well, now I have a little ring that can help me stabilize when I'm using this. Right? So I can open this up, and usually I have another one. I don't know where it went to, but the whole reason I was doing this today was to make sure that I repacked my bag. So I'm just going to grab another clip because sometimes we need that page to stay as well. And I like the ones that are covered with like that rubber material or whatever that is. Anyways, because they don't mark my pages. So there, now I have that open. I can set my finger in here and hold this. But let's talk about this board. I have my water, right? It has the clip. It slides right on there. And then I can get them apart. The magnets are strong. I clip these and I can clip that right on there. Let me get that to open first. So if I'm using the M-gram one, it's hard to do one-handed. There we go. I can actually pop that on like this, or I'm right-handed. I would actually pop that on like this, right? So here's my little swatch. This was from last time I went out. So I had this on here because I had the palette setting the other way. While I was painting, my palette was on here like this. So it was the same way, but I just taped it to my board with a piece of that washi tape. So it can hold my little tiny one, or these magnets are strong. And you can also, you can also do it like this. But if I take this one, right, I can also hold my palette like that. See this always, every time I open it, it just wants to jump out of there. I need to just stick them down. The paints are very sticky still. And those are my Sennelier paints. So there we go. And see, I kind of like right where these loops are, I can set my thumb. But let's talk about these guys. Why do I leave these open? Well, when I am painting, let's just say that I have this brush going, right? This is a snappier brush. It's my large one. Maybe I also have one of these out. I have no idea which one this is. I think it's the flat. There we go. Right? Maybe I'm also using my flat brush. If I don't have a surface with me where I can just sit, I can take these, and this, it doesn't want to fit this way, but it absolutely will fit that way with the bristles pointing down. So I can just slide those right in between that, and it just holds it for me. Same with this. The silver ones I can set like that, and the base of it is just touching that lower point, but it helps just kind of keep it still. If I want that pointing down because it's wet, I can absolutely do that, and it will just hold them. So that helps me kind of hold if I'm using different brushes while I'm painting, and I can just come through and paint. And if I need the other brush, I can grab that. And actually, if I had a third brush, I could, right, also use this one right here. So those hold my brushes and let me paint. And I have my paint water, and I have my palette, and that's everything I need on the go. I can just grab these things out and start painting wherever I'm at. So that is my little tiny setup, and it's very easy. It was a lot to take out of the bag, but I don't take everything out of my bag. Usually I'm just grabbing this book out, get it set up, grab up my water, and just put on a couple clips, and I'm ready to paint. I have my pencil, so if I want to sketch out something that I'm going to be painting, I can do that. But you see, this breaks down very easily, and I can quickly put that back in there. Usually I would take that, I didn't last time, but usually I would take this off and stick it back in my little palette that it belongs in. And I can place any of my swatches if I wanted them, because usually they're in my palettes like I showed you. I usually have, Sennelier doesn't have one. My Mary Blue does. But I usually have these cards for all of them. And yeah, even in the field, I like to have that card so I can see exactly what colors, because some of these look a lot alike. And it's handy, I find, to have that little swatch card. So there's that. Let me not get that lost. Now, I said I would share what I had in the back. So in the back here, I have some of my Sketchbook Floozy templates. And those were put out by Lindsay, right, the Frugal Crafter, and Craft Stash. Looks like I cut my book somehow. But anyhow, so I have these little templates. So I carry one that's like with the open spaces, and I could just put that on a page if I wanted to do like multiple little paintings in one spread. I could use, whatever design I wanted to. And then I bring these because these have other shapes, right? So circle. If I wanted it to have a square, and a circle there, or tape off my edges with my washi tape, and maybe I want a circle in part of that, I could just do the outline of the circle, and then I'd have like my rectangle with a little circle there. I'll show you one way that I've started using those, and I'm really liking it. Let me just get this popped back in its place. Okay. And I have different, like, there's an oval, there's a circle, I have a rectangle, I have a square, have some little pieces that are like, where is it? There it is. Like banner, if I wanted to mark that off and, you know, write something, like label where I was, something like that. I have a few different shapes for that. So yeah, I just pulled some of them from, because I got all of the stencil sets when she put them out, because I've been wanting them for a long time, something like that. And yeah, I thought that was such a wonderful addition, and I can just keep a couple right in my sketchbook. So I will show you how I've been using those lately in my large sketchbook. So I do have another, I'm getting ready. It won't fit in this little bag with this stuff, but I do have another one of these little boards here. This I'm getting ready. It's larger. I would be able to use this with this sketchbook, and it would go, like, it would span, like when I have this open wide, both sides, and just gives me more room to put things on there. However, I'm also planning on using that with my larger visual journal. This is the one that I did all of my Inktober in last year, and I'm trying to finish this one up, but I've started using the stencils to do spreads like this. Now this one is not finished, obviously, but here I did this painting, and here is going to be like a pull out from here, and I'll do it larger. So the waterfall is what I plan on painting here. It'll be up close. So like on this one, right, I did the hills and then you have the flowers down front, and then boom, I pulled out the flowers and did those like a close up. I'm going to paint some other scene here. I haven't discovered it yet. And then I'll pull out a close up from that painting and pop it here. I will be able to take this book, and something like this would then span the space. I would cut out a notch here so I could slide it down behind all my pages. The spine would go up that center spot. So I'm going to cut up to about here, and then that would slide in, and I could clamp it like that on each side. So I would still have my spots to set my brushes with those little clamps, the binder clamps. And then I would have plenty of room to attach my water pots and my palette. That is my plan for that one. And that's the way that Lindsay showed it. She, as far as to cut the notch, to slide in between, and you slide it back here, like between the book board and your pages, and up front like that. You would slide it down. It would go around the spine of the book, and the pages would be up in the center. So you would slide it on like that, and then your pages can open. So yeah, I think that I'm hoping before October that this book gets finished and I can put in the end date, and this one will be full. We're getting there. Got a few pages left. I don't need to take 2 sets of travel brushes, but I do like them because I have the different sizes and shapes. So I like that. If you're somebody who likes to use a water brush, maybe all you need is a water brush. Let me see if I have one here, you know, like something like this, where it holds the water inside. This is also wonderful for that, because when you run out of water, you can unscrew this, and this just has a squeeze top, and I would be able to just line those up, and there we go. I just filled up that water brush. And then they always screw opposite of what I think they're going to screw. There we go. See, and there's water in there. So I found that very handy. I have a couple of these, and actually I have a larger one in my larger bag for plein air. Like if I'm going out and I want my big setup, it has my watercolor easel, and there's a lot in that. Some of this goes into that when I'm taking my larger bag. It actually gets quite compact. So when it goes into my bag, you see like the amount of space that these little things are taking up. I don't bring a water brush because I'm not a fan. I've yet to find a water brush that I really enjoy painting with. I would much rather bring these. but it stacks in there really, really easily. So are you ready to see? And it's not like one of those things where, you know, like when you get a tent and you take the tent out of the bag and the tent will never go back in the bag again. Let's just see how quickly these fill the bag right back up. So I pop that down, lay it flat, then that goes in. These go in. These fill in the little spaces. I'm looking for what's next. This goes in. And I have no problems laying that on its side because there is a rubber seal. I don't know if I showed you guys that, but on these, the palette for the gouache, it has, I'll pop that open. There's actually, see, it's sealed. There we go. There's a gasket here that kind of goes around each. So I don't ever worry about my colors traveling in this. They pretty much stay where I have them. And it's not too messy when I'm out there and want to use it. Pop that back into place. So that can go on its side. And this one stands up. Sometimes they like don't want to stay standing at first, but I can coax them into it. Place these down in there. I've got to put these back together. I have some of the Mimic brushes, the travel brushes, and I wasn't a fan. Like I showed you, these screw in. So they have the threads on both sides. So they screw closed and they screw together. These are my Mimic brushes, and I got them because I love my Mimic paint brushes. And I love that these, you can read it. Like this is a 1/4 inch. It's gold, the gold on silver. It's a 1/4 inch round. But these just, that says round. This is flat. I probably put it away in the wrong one. Anyways, so that was a flat one. And they go together. But I have found that mine don't want to stay together very well. And they just push. It drives me crazy if they come apart when I'm painting. Because usually I tend to hold it right about in that area. And yeah, I don't like that. Whereas these, when those are together, they're not going to come apart. And I tend to hold those just below where they connect anyways. So yeah, they're definitely much bigger, different in size. Of course, this is a large brush. This is a very small brush, but this one is the same, about the same size brush. Little less compact, but the bag is not that much larger. So I just prefer these. But for those of you who are interested in the Mimic brushes, and these have the little slots in there to hold them, they're all about the same size around as far as, you know, the covers go. Yeah, see, 4 round. Okay, and that one just came off my brushes inside there, which is lovely. Yeah, I'm just not a fan. So that's not even staying. I'm gonna have to see if Lou can glue that. Isn't that fun? I just wasn't a fan of these. So there's the, it says round. This is not a round. This says a 4 round, and this says 1/4 inch round. It's not, it's a 1/4 inch flat. So it's not even labeled correctly, but yeah, that's going to keep coming apart, whatever. Because none of these, yeah, none of them say flat. So that's just not correct on this one. So it has like a 2. This one's an 8. And the 8 is the largest. And you see that, like, see how easy that comes apart? That's all the way in. And it doesn't catch. There are like little nubs here, and they're supposed to catch and get taut. It doesn't. And I was very frustrated with them. I did not like them. I've never recommended them because I don't like the way they go together. Maybe there are other travel brushes that go together like this that are wonderful. In my opinion, these are just not them. So unfortunately, I ended up with a set of brushes that, yeah, I don't use. And the brush isn't even staying connected. I have to have Lou glue it. I don't know. I would probably gift them to somebody that doesn't have brushes and would be happy with them, but I'm not happy with them. I like the ones that screw together. That's my personal preference. back to fitting our little things back in the bag. I'm always very careful to make sure I get those put back together without messing up their points. Do you see in comparison, they're narrower. Yeah, they're a little taller, but they're narrower. And the height is not a problem in this bag. So these are actually a bit more compact when I hold it, but I do have two sets. So the 2 sets are you see there, they're a little bit wider than this one, but I have more brushes in these 2 sets. And again, they both fit in my bag. So as far as I'm concerned, that's not a problem. Let me just pop those in there. My clips go in, and they kind of fall into the little, whatever little spaces are available. And this can go in there. Oh, I put those in wrong. I forgot my liner pens. Those go in this space. Everything definitely has a space, but I love how everything can fit. So you just stand them up. That holds right there. Put the clips wherever they fall around. And then my palettes can sit, because again, I want to make sure that with the Sennelier and the M. Graham, I wanted to make sure that they weren't moving, that they were going to stay flat, and that lets that happen. And then the top just comes right over. That zips right up. Oh, forgot a clip. And I forgot my little piece of card. Pop that in there. And there we go. That's my little art bag. Ready to go. Ready to paint anywhere that I want to paint. Do you guys paint plein air? Was this helpful? Does that help you see like some things you might want to incorporate? The only thing I don't have in here that I want in here, and I'm going to be adding very soon, is a sponge. I love using the sponge, and I think that I'm going to find a way to incorporate a sponge, and I definitely have an idea for that. And as soon as I get the sponge that I'm going to cut up for that, I will share it and yeah, show you how that goes in my setup. But there we go. And the sponge is just to help me dab off. Currently what I do is I take a piece of paper towel and one of those clips, and I clip it into the paper towel. So whether it be the clips that hold the palette on, I'll clip a little piece of paper towel under that clip, and then the palette sticks to the magnet. And then I can dab my brush on the paper towel. But a paper towel is waste, and trying to reduce the waste, I'm going to create a little tin that will hold a sponge, and that can go right on a magnet clip as well. It'll give me a little extra mixing area, and it'll give me the sponge to be dabbing off, and I can use it just like the one I use here in the studio. That's my setup. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. And I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found that helpful. If you want to see what is in my big plein air bag and how big is big, drop me a comment and let me know, and I will do another video on that. If you saw the video on my Plein watercolor easel, you caught a glimpse of that bag in that video. And it actually holds that watercolor easel. And if that's something that you're interested in, please do let me know. Until next time, my friends, I'm going to pop another video up here that you might like to watch next. Keep creating and get outdoors. Get outdoors and do some painting. I will see you in a video real soon. Bye, guys.